Hello, hello. You need to get the normal credits with those sounds. That's really great.
Yeah.
This is the last year that it's going to be FlutterCon. It's going to be different forever.
Next FlutterCon.
We're going to have to get a whole new video with a whole new song and a whole new fun dance.
Everything.
If only there were some kind of technology to be able to make little videos like that. I don't know. It'd be nice.
If only there was some kind of technology to make some music,
Yeah.
that we could throw in there.
Music and videos. Yeah. And with maybe some splashy graphics. That would be cool. Yeah. How can that be done?
Too big.
Somebody should invent something like that someday.
We're not talking about that on this show. That's a different show.
Someday there will be technology where you can just type in a box what you want, and it'll just happen for you.
Wow.
Someday it's coming.
It was really funny. You say that
way in the future.
If you had heard that, let's be honest. If you had heard that, like even a few years ago, you'd be like, "You're insane. Right. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
that's never going to happen."
2020, I would have laughed in your face, 100%. Yeah,
people are still saying that, so you know.
True, definitely.
Yeah, it's just a fad. It's going away.
Just a fad, man.
Yep.
The bubble's going to burst any day now. It's coming.
I've worked on a few Lyria attempts to try to make the high pulse sound, so we had a different sound but had the same kind of beat, and I failed. And the problem is you try something and you got to wait 4 minutes to figure out whether you got it right or not.
What you really want is one of those. I've seen the scripting language. You can make music, right? Like you can change.
Yes.
What you really want is an MCP for that, and then have the AI use that to generate the music.
Yeah, exactly. Smarter than me about music, which is not hard. I mean, I know where all the basic notes are.
It was terrible. It is hidden on the internet. No one will ever find it. Lane, that's not a challenge. No one will ever find my SoundCloud page. It's under a completely different name. It is. I have worked really hard to hide it because I was rapping and no one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear me try to rap. It doesn't work.
You went under the name Musicinator, right?
That would have done it. That'd be good.
Yes. In the mid 90s, I worked making websites for bands. So music and the internet were kind of like my jam back then. And I wish that the archiving of the internet or things lasting forever existed a little bit the same way as then, because I wrote this article about how streaming on the internet was the future and was going to be a thing, especially with music, and wrote this whole big thing about it. And I love the fact that I was right. But, you know.
Hooray for being right.
Pre everything that we have today. But.
Well, it's like I used to work on cable access, which was a way for citizens in town to go through classes and learn how to use technical things like video editors and videotape. Oh yeah, the whole classic stuff. But get it on the air and have it go out to 110,000 homes here in Portland. And now it's like you just get your YouTube channel. You don't need all this infrastructure, core material, the expensive equipment. I mean, my phone can record an entire podcast if I want. It's crazy.
But that's all. Let's be honest. You're talking about equipment. That's all based on the fact that we have the internet, right? And the internet's now so ubiquitous, right? Like it's become like a new TV, but for the world. So you know.
Yes.
Honestly, Randall, when you said that you used to work in cable access, I really thought this was going in a different direction. Like HBO 2 a.m. And I was like, oh, Randall, wow,
he did it
from side of you we didn't know about. Yeah,
you should have seen some of the shows I worked on. There was this. I'll just stop there.
Okay.
I'll just stop there.
Anyway. Let's do introductions for those that don't know who we are. This crazy people.
Who are we?
My name's Simon Lightfoot, a community leader in Flutter, and CTO at Dev Angels London. And you can follow me on Twitter and other places at Dev Angels London. Randall.
I'm Randall Schwartz. I've been a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert since the very beginning of the program, which I think is about 6 years back now. And what that means is I spend a lot of time online answering questions for people on, say, Discord and Reddit and Stack Overflow. Yes, I actually answered a Stack Overflow question the other day. So it's not dead yet. It's getting close, but yeah. So Stack Overflow and used to answer questions on Facebook, but you can't get indentation right on Facebook. So I just gave up. It was just too crazy there. But for this show, I am the question magician, which means that I am watching the live chat that's coming in. If you put Q: in front of your statement, that will turn into a question to us, and I will flag those and we'll take them in the order received. If you repeat the same question later because you're impatient or can't follow instructions, then we move you down in the queue. So don't do that. We don't want to bump people, but we will bump people if they ask the exact same question. So ask once. We've seen it. It's going in the queue. Do not put URLs in your questions, though. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Danielle? Not here.
Danielle's not here, but we got John next.
Yeah. So John Wizzy, I manage the Flutter Community Medium, and hopefully this time next week I'll be able to fill in the entrepreneur part with the business name if all goes well. Working on getting that finalized, and then like Randall, I hang out in a lot of places answering questions as much as I can while working on getting the business going and stuff. So and doing this for, I don't know, as long as Randall and Simon, just about. So however long that's been.
Getting long in the tooth, my friend.
Yeah.
I looked at how long I've been doing this for. It's like stupidly long. Anyway, yeah, and we have a couple of community members with us.
Yes.
So Matthew, do you want to?
Hey, yeah, guys, I'm Matthew. I've been working in Flutter shortly after the 1.0 release. I am a senior innovation engineer, whatever that means, for a large bank. I still need to update my thing. I am past the thermal printer underworld. It works. I promise, guys, it works. Yeah. So my big thing is that I have a YouTube channel called Makerinator. So if you've not seen it, I'm sure most of you probably have. After we're done with the stream, not right now, after we're done with the stream, go look it up. I make all kinds of silly inventions out of Flutter and Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, the whole intersection between hardware, software, and the real world. So yeah, that is me.
And Katie.
Hi, my name is Kaylee. I'm CEO at Checks on Me, where we use Flutter and ServerPod. I think I'm the baby Flutter adopter here. I go back to about 4 months before 2.0 was released. So I guess that makes me the baby out of the group. What else? Oh, I am also a co-manager of the Flutteristas. So if you are a woman or non-binary person who is interested in Flutter, hit us up. We would love to have you.
Just on the point of links, and let's see if we can get this up and working. There we go.
Yeah, so links, don't put them in. Nobody sees it except you.
Yeah, so if you put a link in the question, we don't get the whole question. So head over to just github.just.new and pop in a description and your code. Make sure it's not Dart so we get the syntax highline. And then, if you want us to co-review, you can put some stuff in there, whatever you want. And just grab the hash from 1.6 and drop that in the chat, and then we'll get them through in the messages. Right, that's enough of all the usual stuff. There we go. How is everyone doing? I think we went through that.
I'm doing good. I cut it close. I was coming out of a meeting at work, and we've just did a Copilot rollout, so everyone has access to it now, and it does meeting transcriptions. So after everyone left the meeting, I spent 3 minutes ranting about bananas because I wanted to see what would happen, and Copilot cut it out. I'm so disappointed. I wanted everyone to be reading them the recap, and then Matthew ranted about bananas for 3 minutes, and nope, Copilot completely
was
cut
too
it out.
smart. It knew that wasn't part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
We were wondering what you were doing. We were all in the backstage waiting, and finally Kaylee said, "Where's Matthew?"
Yeah, that's on me, guys. I'm sorry. I cut it close because I was trying to troll Copilot and failed miserably.
Ranting about bananas is a noble pursuit. So
yeah,
it is. They are a superior breakfast option, and that's what I talked about for 3 minutes. And Copilot was having none of it. So
I hear they make pretty good images for you too.
Yeah, the Nana, specifically the Nana species of banana, makes really, really good images. Yes.
I saw a it was a what do you call it? This is going to be really embarrassing now. I've forgotten what it's called. Basically, it was a podcast, and they were trying out fruit, and they were like, "This fruit is from this really expensive store in the middle of London, and it cost £600 to get all this fruit in, and like that banana was £40 or something like this." And the host believed them for a period of time, and it's obviously rubbish, but they're like, it's meant to be superior than all other fruit, and
they do have $25 pineapple. That's a thing.
Oh boy.
I tried it. It's a pink pineapple. It's like a special GMO bred pineapple that's pink. And yeah, I tried it. It's good. I don't know if it's $25 good, but.
Wow. So one of my life goals is to visit Japan, right? That's something that I've always wanted to do. And maybe go visit Flutter Ninjas while I'm there. That would be cool. But they have a thing there in one of the travel channels I was watching. Like they did a whole thing. It's called gift fruit. So it is fruit that is extremely high quality, and like you'll get individually wrapped strawberries, and like someone has deemed this is the perfect strawberry, and then it's almost like eating candy, but it's like super presented nicely.
Isn't that American fruit?
Oh. Well, if we're going there, Simon, I ordered some printed circuit boards. And the boards cost $5. Guess how much the tariffs were? Actually, everyone put up the number of fingers for how much you think the tariffs were. I'm curious.
For what? Sorry?
A printed circuit board coming from
PCBs
China.
From China.
Yes. Yes.
So that's got to be like a 50% markup.
Say what?
50% markup on it? I don't know.
And is it per board?
I ordered 5 boards. They were $1 a piece. I had a $5 coupon, so the boards are technically free.
And you paid like $20 in tariffs?
$9 in tariffs.
Wow. Yep, that went into somebody's pocket, not mine.
Yep.
So Simon was telling me I need to etch my own PCBs, and I was like, "Why would I do that? I can get this for $5." And now I'm eyeballing those PCB etching kits, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to get some chemicals and dump them in and end my life. For take like 3 years off my life. I'm not ending my life, guys. Take like 3 years off my life as I dump chemicals in a vat, so that I can etch my own PCBs because that's insane. Anyway, sorry.
Yep. Cool. So we're here to answer your Dart and Flutter questions, or just chat about things that you're upset about in the Dart and Flutter world. We can do that as well. We can rant about our own things for a while as well. We're pretty good at that. Let's see. I haven't seen any questions yet. Still looking for questions. I do want to add, and we do some live coding. We'll get started on that. I do want to add that we were talking about history of Flutter. I actually go back even 3 years earlier than Flutter with Dart, because I discovered Dart. I really liked it as a language. I thought it had promise. I thought it was going to be the next JavaScript. So I invested time in it, and I started looking at Angular Dart. I wanted to write books about that and training courses about that. And then my friend Wim Wheeler, who worked for Google at the time, but couldn't tell me, but at the time they had decided to abandon Angular Dart as a publicly supported service. So he was trying to tell me, no, you really don't want to look at Angular Dart right now. And instead, he walked me over to his desk and showed me Hot Reload. And I go, what's this? I'd never wanted to do mobile before that, but Hot Reload made me a mobile developer. And I immediately installed Flutter, and I've been involved with Flutter since then. So
actually, Will Lima is the same person that got me involved in Flutter and Dart. Google put on a Agency Day Europe, I think it was called at the time, something like that. Okay. And they got all the mobile development agencies together and to discuss, how Google can help them out and so on. And Will Lima did a presentation on Flutter, which I'd heard about before. And at the time, I completely disregarded it. I was like, this is another cross-platform thing. It's going to be web-based. It's going to be CSS and HTML stuff and web views at the time. They're still not great now, but they were way worse then. And
Mhm.
and I think at the time, as soon as it was over his presentation, I bombarded him with very technical questions, and he was like, "Whoa! I'll put you in touch with the people who can answer your questions."
Yes. Yeah.
And that was the start of the Flutter journey.
Yeah, Wim's been a friend of mine. He's a Portland resident here, local resident, and he's been. I've known him for like 30 years. I mean, so it was really weird that sort of became my nexus into this whole world. So coincidences, people you know, that's how it works.
Yep. So
I came in later than you guys. I think I've talked about my past before and how I got into Flutter, but I'll just quickly recap it. Like I was working as a web developer at the time for a local library, and we needed a mobile app, and we had one. It was called Boopsy, and it was terrible. Like the actual phrase around the office was "Boopsy is poopsy," right? Like it was just so bad. And so my boss was like, "We need to find a different mobile app option. Can you like go just download all the options, that are out there that we can pay for, and then evaluate them and pick one that you think would be good?" And I did that, and I hated all of them. And so I went to my boss and I was like, "I think I could just write this. Can I please just write our mobile app?" And he's like, no, I don't believe you can do that. You're a web developer. No. And so I kept doing it. And so finally kept bugging him. And so finally he's like, "You've got 2 weeks to show me something running on a phone. That's all. You've got 2 weeks. You've never done mobile development before. You need to show me something running on a phone." So the first week was learning Flutter. And then the second week, I got a very simple app working. All it did was search the library catalog. Like you could type in a search term and give you a list of results and like the book cover and stuff like that. And he's like, "Okay, cool. I believe that you can do it now. Looking at this, our contract is up in 4 months. You need to have a fully functional replacement for this out the door in 4 months." And
Wow.
I would tell you, I have never coded so hard in my life. Yeah, this was pre-AI. Yeah, this was pre-AI. I couldn't just type in a box and fire off a whole bunch of
no vibe coding on that one.
No. So like I literally by the end of that whole time, like I had to take a week off because I could not move my fingers. Everything hurt all the way down here. But I got it out the door. And I chose
You were doing hard typing again.
Yeah.
Strong typing.
No, I like hard typing. Yeah, I'm a programmer. I did my hard typing. 6 years of hard typing. No, but yeah, and it was a big hit in the community. Like everyone really liked it, and so that you've got something special when people come back and are like, "Hey, can you make it do this?" Right? And like we started getting a whole bunch of feature requests from the community, and so like the next year after that, I was just me adding features to the app that people requested and asked for. They're still using that app to this day. Yeah, so it's but it was that was my introduction to Flutter, and it was intense, but you learn a lot when you're under the gun and you've got to crank stuff out. So
yep.
You just reminded me actually. I had to buy something from a local store here today, and I downloaded and installed the app, and I was like, "Wait a minute, I made this app." I was like, I don't remember. How do I use this again? Like, help write the code.
My first salary.
That was good before. Now it's crap.
my first salary job was as a technical writer, and so we would write instructions for various products. And I guess that was the first time I was doing manual labor. Oh. I had to get a dad joke in here somewhere.
You know what? This is an interesting question, though. Like normally we wait for the audience to ask us questions. Why don't we reverse that? Let's ask the audience a question. If you're in the chat right now,
we do have one question.
And tell us. Okay, well, drop in the chat. We'll answer the question, but like drop in the chat right now. How did you get into Flutter? Like what made you decide to pick Dart and Flutter for whatever it is? Like what got you to this point? I'm just curious. I would love to hear from the community like how you got here, because it's in my opinion, the Flutter community is the best developer community in the world. I really, I consider the people in the Flutter community like friends, and like there's so much less toxicity. I'm not saying it doesn't exist in corners, but there's so much less toxicity than there are in other communities, and I love it here. So I'm just curious. While we're answering the other question.
So we didn't get Kaylee yet.
Kaylee, go ahead. Sorry.
Before we get to that, I will say I want to reiterate and reinforce what Matthew just said about this being such a great community. Being the woman flavor here at the moment, Flutterista representative, 100% true. I've been a part of many other coding communities and dealing with tech bros and all the things that go along with it. And the Flutter community is far and away more welcoming than any other ones I've been a part of as a woman. So that says something. And back to the question, as far as getting into Flutter, I was so in 2020 for the election, this was still pandemic times, and we did a virtual election watch party for the election of 2020. And so there's maybe 15 of us on there just kind of drinking and hanging out. And I did not know everybody. And I was talking about, I was a React developer before that. And I was talking about this app I'd made in React Native. And it was the first time I'd made a mobile app. And I was just like, I hate it. I don't like it. But I didn't know about other options. And some random guy that was on this election party call was like, hey, have you looked at Flutter? And to this day, I want to find him and thank him and be like, look what you did. Yeah. And so I've been
what you did to me.
Yeah. been on board ever since then. So
Kaylee, your turn of phrase when you said you were the woman flavor here, all I can think about is Flutter run -- flavor woman. That's all I've got in my head right now.
I love it.
We're so easily distracted. How about go for the question here? We got one question. Get it out of the way. Yes. Okay. So Hannah asks, I've been out of the workforce for several years while raising kids. Where to start in order to get back into Flutter or coding in general? Well, what do you know? We do have starting places for things like that.
I have a woman-flavored answer for that.
Hey, go for
it. If I'm incorrect in assuming your gender, Hannah, I apologize. But I feel pretty confident on that. Your first thing you do is you hit up the Flutteristas, flutteristas.org. Go to our website, fill out the form. Let us know. You can send us an email at flutteristas@gmail.com or whatever that you applied and you did this and you have to go through all the steps, but that will get you into our community. And we have a very welcoming community where we can get you started in a lot of ways. Flutter itself just launched a new getting started with Flutter thing. That would be another good place to start and run through that and get all refreshed, and then come to the Flutter community with questions. We're here for you.
Yep, I've got the URL for the getting started. I'm just about to put it in the chat here.
Perfect.
As I get
lots of good places, not only on the getting started, but if you go to flutter.dev in the resources or the community page has many different places that you can find us for questions and help.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. I will also say that as part of this answer, AI. I know we don't talk about that much, but the point is, you can ask for you can use several of the AIs that are out there right now free of charge. Ask for a learning path supporting exactly your background. You can say, I've got background doing this, and this at this year and between these dates. I'm now getting back into the workforce. I'm learning Flutter. I want to do this, and this. Can you give me a customized learning path that will help me get up to date? You'll be surprised what it'll direct you towards and give you.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I did that. So when I was trying to learn C#.NET Core for work, what I did is I was like, I have a really good understanding of Dart and Flutter. It's my strongest language. I want to learn C# and the .NET stuff. Can you please give me a learning path? And then whenever possible, when I ask you a question, I want you to say, this is the equivalent of it in Dart and Flutter, right? So if I'm like, what is the syntax? What is this thing? Then it would be like, oh, well, in Dart, you would do it like this. And then I understand, oh, okay, so this is just the C# flavoring of it. So, yeah. But I also like the idea of just going to the Flutteristas. I think that's a fantastic place to start.
Of course. So. Yeah, you have to be part of the Flutteristas. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
There's a couple places. Yeah, the Discord's great too because people are there 24/7. I was going to say though, if in terms of using AI to study, there's a couple of really good resources. If you don't know about them yet, please research them. One of them is Notebook LM, where you can drop all sorts of documents and even search the net for a particular topic. And it will do things like make slide decks, make videos, make interactive conversations, lots and lots of cool stuff. Notebook LM is really amazing. The other that's sort of underrated, and I really see this now, is the Canvas tool in the Gemini app. So that's either on mobile or on the web. When you go to the Gemini there, you can say, ask for Canvas. And Canvas has the ability to output all sorts of things. You can say, give me a learning guide for a particular topic. And it will do all sorts of things, bullet lists. It'll draw graphics. It'll do all sorts of things. Really, it's flexible. The output format of Canvas is whatever the LLM wants. So it's kind of like GenUI. It just does what it wants. So try both of those out. That's the two biggest ways I've been learning new things lately.
I'd also like to point out, I put the link in the chat, roadmap.sh/Flutter. It's a curated roadmap to learning Flutter from the ground up, and it takes you through, the starting point and what you should learn next. And if you follow the path all the way down, you've kind of got like a good guide down as to how you might, deploy eventual deployment of an app. So basically taking you through all the steps. So that's also like a nice sort of curated learning roadmap. And as Raph just pointed out in the chat, you may get wrong. You might get wrong recommendations from AI as well. So pinch of salt and all those things. And
yep.
Did anybody else do the Angela Yu video years ago? She was the gold standard of learning Flutter back in 2020 and 2021. And then when Flutter 2.0 came out and everything kind of moved past the video, she never made an updated one. So moved on, but excellent video.
Expensive. It's expensive to maintain that. I talk with Andrea all the time about what he has to do to keep his materials up to date, and it's expensive. And unless you're selling if you can't sell material you're writing at least 10 times, you're not going to even break even. 10 is sort of the magic number. You've got to have 10 sales to get something to happen. And then you can't be changing it in the meanwhile, because then it resets your counter. So, yeah.
There's some great responses in the chat here about how people got into Flutter. It's really interesting. I don't know if we want to go through them or whatever, but
sure.
Hang on, I'm gonna.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Right.
Accent's a good way of doing it. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
My favorite was I think it was Steph. Wanted to rewrite my brother's app so it was cross-platform. I think my favorite is Steph's. In May of 2019, I was learning iOS development on Udemy from London App Brewery. They sent me an email and their newest course, and it was Flutter. I didn't look back, which I think is hysterical. I got an email one day and it changed my life. That is fantastic.
That's Angela Yu, of course. That's the one
that's the Angela Yu course. Yep. If you said London App Brewery, I would have been okay. That one, yeah.
Sorry, Angela Yu. She's a medical doctor who decided to do Flutter and made the most excellent instructional video. I don't learn from video very well, so the fact that I was able to learn something so great from a video says a lot about her skill in teaching.
Yeah. I am with you, Kaylee. I am terrible at learning from video. I have to write the code badly and pound my head against it to learn anything. That's who I am. But honestly, based upon Steph's response, Simon, our solution is very simple. We just need to send an email to every developer on the planet that they need to switch to Flutter, and then all.
Big brain ideas right there.
Have you tried Flutter? First download is free.
And then you get hooked. Be careful.
Kid, want to try some Flutter? Like, pull out a little dash.
just a dash of Flutter. Here, just a dash of Flutter.
Yeah, there's so many great responses in here, though. This is awesome.
Yeah. You need to point one out here. Let's see. Yeah, just some great stuff.
Carol was a GDG organizer and had to present it at a code lab. Philippe was a junior web dev in 2019 and learned it at a hackathon. Lucas learned it in university. Yeah,
a few of those.
Yeah.
They weren't even teaching JavaScript when I was in college. So. That's a big step up.
When I was in college, I learned COBOL. Like they were like, JavaScript, you're never going to need it. This is
no. We did. Let's see, assembly, Fortran, COBOL. Yeah, all the ones that everybody was doing.
RPG. Yeah,
it wasn't born until '95, which is my freshman year in college. So they hadn't had an opportunity to make any.
95 was I was a year out of college at that point.
Dial-up was 300 baud when I was in high school.
Yeah. It was my first big job out of college was working at a dial-up in Portland, Randall. Maybe you remember them, Europa.
Oh, Europa, yeah. They were Teleport's competitor.
Yeah. I worked at Europa for like a year. Answering phone.
Yes.
Reboot their computers.
Forgive God with his response. He's old. He or she, sorry, not sure. Been waiting for something like Flutter since Flex got killed by the iPad.
Yeah. Sure.
Ooh. Yeah.
To be honest, when Flash was out, Flash was taking the world by storm. Right. Let's be honest. That's where it was. Yeah. It was suddenly a cross-platform thing, right? And you had there's many benefits to it, and then it just kind of the big nail in the coffin for it, I think, was Apple. Let's be honest, right? Apple saying no Flash, right? That was obviously come down from the Steve on high, but the interesting thing is that there was it kind of got to that position of trying to run it on mobile device. And back then, mobile phones were like 64 meg of RAM. And you had I think it was 8 meg for your app in stack space. Can you imagine writing an app that just had 8 meg of RAM now? What? It came to the point where it just wasn't. You couldn't get the performance out of it that you wanted to, right? Yeah. That's why there was a big pushback then for you must write your apps native because you want to get the performance out of the device, right? But yeah, I think when it finally sort of saw its death, I think there's definitely a whole almost community and ecosystem that just died.
There are so many Flash games that were fantastic. There was never mind. It's not.
Appropriate. Just to back up just a bit from Flash, I just saw a nice 25-minute video on HyperCard, and it made me excited to go back and look for a HyperCard that I could run today, because there were a lot of really smart things in HyperCard. It was really, really clever, and then Jobs killed it partially because it was from the previous regime. And
you know what? People always talk about Google killing stuff. Let's talk about what all has Apple killed over the years.
Oh man,
that was really interesting.
Yes, it would be about as long a list, I think. Yeah. Yes.
But it's so funny because we were talking about local ISPs earlier. My local ISP offered classes back in the 90s because it was people didn't understand how to use the internet or how to do the things. And so I bugged my mom until she enrolled me in all of them. And the last one was how to build a website. And that's how I learned to build websites. And there was one after that they offered, which basically taught this newfangled language called JavaScript. And so I'll never forget my first JavaScript app. And some of you on the call who know what I'm working on for the YouTube channel right now will find this hysterical. It was a genie lamp. And then when you hovered your mouse over it, a pop-up came up with a fortune. It had like 100 like pre-made fortunes. And like 14-year-old Matthew thought he was the coolest thing ever for creating this. I was like, man, I'm like super hacker. No, I wasn't. But it was, it was good times. It's funny because like the idea of a local ISP is something that no one even thinks about anymore. But back in the day, like, you know, you had like your small business that you would go to and dial into, and you wanted to make sure that you didn't dial into a long distance phone number and all the things.
Question. Have you ever went back on the Wayback Machine to see if any of your old early website work still exists? Because I have.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No.
They do, and I'm not telling anyone how to find it because they're so bad. I maintained a personal website pretty much most of my life, up until like when Facebook hit, and then I quit doing it.
Sorry,
so
I just imagine that first one being like dancing gerbil gifs. So it was like the internet for a whole period of time,
flashing,
very close
text.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, blink.
Honestly,
blink. It's got blink.
You're
on
not
it.
wrong. So
Marquee.
many animated GIFs. Yeah.
Marquee. Yes.
I linked to one of mine on my website. I'm proud of it. It's most of it. The stuff doesn't work anymore in the context of New Web and the Wayback Machine, but it's fun. It really is a fun little time machine to go back in time. And oddly enough, the Wayback Machine doesn't go back far enough to see some of the earliest work, but that's a fun trip. I like it.
Oh, all of my teenage angst is cataloged on the Wayback Machine. It's all there. All of Matthew's. If you've ever been on the subreddit, I'm 14 and this is deep. All of it's there. All of it. Like every bit of cringe that could have possibly come from Matthew's teenage mind is cataloged forever on the Wayback Machine. Yeah, it's great.
I think a lot of us learned BASIC with audio cassettes. That's definitely a big way of learning programming back in the day.
BASIC was my first. Yeah.
Mine was on the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64. Very popular.
Apple IIc.
TI 99
Commodore 64.
Yeah.
We have a couple of questions in the queue. If somebody wants to start answering them again. Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take the first one here from BD Watch Learn. When can we use iOS 26 liquid glass in Flutter fully? We sort of can right now. Aren't there like a dozen packages that do liquid glass? Yeah.
And you can also, as Dominic was showing, you can actually call the native APIs and use the native widgets if you want to in your app.
So it's already there.
Why you want to, but you can. So
I think it's people. There are people who think that if it's not something that comes out of Cupertino, not Cupertino, what's nearby, a Mountain View. If it doesn't come out of Mountain View, that you can't use it. But no. I mean, we have the pub for a reason. There's definitely solutions in there. Okay,
so you can, but don't.
Good time to point out that nobody here works for Google.
Right.
So.
Right. Some of us work again. No, never mind. All right. I'll just. There was my GDE status. All right.
Look at that package motor.
Package motor.
But not sure.
What the heck is package motor?
It's a motion
motor.
The motion API, a unified motion API. I just pulled it up because I hadn't heard of it. It's about 3 months old.
It's
a physics-based springs, duration-based curves, and Flutter's animation system all in one API is what it claims to be. So,
wow.
Maybe Simon will bring it up on the stream and look at the page. And
Simon's looking at it. At least we can tell he's looking at it by looking over his shoulder.
Intently looking at the page, decide.
Yeah,
he's trying to decide whether to
bring it up or not. There we go. Yes.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, we got too many people. Today.
Yeah, we can take the question off. I think.
So like you can see some of that's an example.
Ooh.
Very flashy. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Make it do something. That wasn't much.
Keep it to the motion presets for matching iOS animations. That's nice. Material 3. multi-dimensional, offset size, React, interactive widgets, Flutter integration, open example. Let's
Flip card. That's your favorite. You
card. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip card.
Whoa.
It flips.
See.
Flip early.
How long did you work to get that to work on one or some early?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was like forever.
Yeah.
It's like week after week. It was like, well, now it's not doing this.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the answer to the question is we haven't used it yet, but we're playing with it now.
But it does look interesting looking at some of the code. Yeah. How some of it happens is pretty.
I am 100% going to use this in a future project. This is very cool.
It crashed the browser tab, I think.
I'm going to use the flip feature so that I can have a flip on function and, more importantly, a flip off function that I can call.
Oh, no. I'm the only one doing grandpa jokes here. Come on, you're not old enough. When you show
then I'll create a card named I'll create a card named Randall, and so then I can write flip off Randall in.
Oh, look at this, guys.
Oh, that's
cool. That is cool.
Yeah, I like this. Look at that. There's carousel. That's the way a carousel should be.
That is very cool.
No loop. Seamless. Nice.
Yeah, so like this kind of sequence animations. Yeah. You've been able to do a lot of this stuff already in, in Flutter. So,
you get stuck.
Yeah.
Maybe we see some live coding with this.
And apparently, the browser tab doesn't want to reload. I think he didn't like sharing it.
Oh, Lucas!
Someone should create animate a boat with this thing so we can have a motorboat.
Oh.
You're just trying to get.
I started it.
He's trying to take over. He's trying to take over Randall's job.
Yeah,
I know.
I keep waiting for Simon to kick me off the stream. It hasn't happened yet. I
got one job. That's it. Let's see here.
Who's asking? Somebody's asking about examples. Are you asking about the examples of that package? It's on the page for the package.
Yeah.
That's what you're asking about.
So if you go to the repo of the package, there'll be an example folder. Inside the example folder, you will find all these examples.
Yeah, and the main page has a few of those examples, like just embedded in it with the code that runs it right there. So you can even find some of that. Actually, it has some other examples as well. So.
Nice. Cool deal. Well, that was exciting for a moment.
Some more examples in here. Look.
Yeah, that's that.
Glass sheet. So you get the kind of what we did last week. You get the blur. Proper Cupertino.
Which is clear, number 1 or number 2? Number
page
1?
Sheet.
Number 2.
Resize sheet. I'm guessing this is one that
somebody's had an eye test.
Add more items in. Resize this. Break down. What's that? Snapping sheet.
But can it accommodate that bottom sheet to be the size of the largest thing?
Actually, I think that's what it's showing you with the resizing one, right?
Really?
Something's going wrong there. It seems to want to crash.
Big. Oh, okay. That doesn't bode well.
No.
Well, I guess it depends on if it's only crashing in web, and if you need it for web, then yeah.
I should go stick Gemini at it and give it a code review. See how far off it is.
Ask them what the good, the bad, and the ugly is.
Yeah, exactly. Always. That's my standard prompt. I don't even have that on a macro yet. I should have that on a macro.
I've stolen that from you, Randall. I use it every day. It's awesome.
Isn't it? It's such an appropriate, and yet easy to remember, which is the great part. Yeah, and it knows immediately what you want, and it does it really well. Which is the best part. go even deeper.
Whoa. Whoa.
This is the end. Oh, no, you reached the end. The end of what?
And then it crashed again.
Obviously a crash. Yes, right.
Cool.
This is a follow-up to the other question.
Click. Cool. That's kind of cool. Right?
Whoa.
I mean, if you want to use it. I mean, it looks good.
Yep.
The result is good.
Like
Maybe a bit crashy. I don't know.
This next question is similar to the previous question, but maybe we have a unique take on this. I've not programmed in Flutter in a couple of years. Any high-level changes should I be aware of? Wow.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah. So the answer is yes.
My first question is, by a couple years, was this before or after null safety hit? That would be like a big one. Yeah.
I think it'd have to be after, because it's been a number of years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a number of years.
Yes, a large number of years. It's like 2/3 of Flutter's existence, I think, has been post.
Well, I suppose I'd say records and patterns. That's a big language feature. That
it says after null safety. So
yeah.
Okay.
So record. So if you go to
Dart 3 stuff, the Dart 3 stuff is all new, obviously.
I don't think you're missing a lot of records. I hate records. Yeah. Hot take. I hate records, guys.
Disagree completely.
Love it.
I think it all depends on so like
where's the eject button?
Right? Oh yeah, you've got extension method and extension and stuff now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
There's that whole thing around extensions that can be misused, right?
Yeah.
You can like build entire patterns of behavior using just extensions alone. That's Swifty that feels that, but like the point here is that you can get into some really difficult patterns, right? And I think I'd say the same thing can happen with records, right? Like you can start treating records as if they're classes, and that's when you kind of run into a problem, right? They're not. Yeah, they're just a way of grouping data together, like tightly bounding some fields so you can ship them around inside your app. Rather than there's been several times inside of Dart apps when you're like, oh, here's a set parameter, I need to pass them forward or pass them back. It's like, okay, now you can capture them in the record, now you can pass that record around, and it definitely makes a difference.
It's also important to realize they don't create a separate type. So even if you use a type def and you say int comma string as your two types in your record, that's exactly equivalent to any other int comma string that you create even with a different type def name. So they're not creating real classes. They're creating just aliases for shapes.
Yeah, I would say no to this one, Lane.
Nope. No, they work differently.
Yep. Completely.
So, no.
Yep.
Under the hood, basically.
Yes.
A record is way more lightweight than any sort of class. Yep. It's the instantiation, right?
Yeah.
It's weird because I love pattern matching as much as I hate records. Like I use pattern matching everywhere, but records, like to me, I like knowing beyond a shadow of doubt. And you're going to argue with me about this, but I think it's cluttered. I think it's messy. I think that it is not inherently obvious.
Finish your first sentence. I don't. What is it about?
Records. I think records are messy, right? I think that it is really difficult to inherently understand by looking at a record after it's been defined later in the code what all is actually in this record. And
I think I agree with you. I disagree at the same time. I'm going to say I had that same feeling when I first saw it. And same with patterns, because it's a new behavior. You're not used to reading it. And I think there's an expectation that you need to get used to using it, used to seeing it, and you only do that by using it, right, in the code base. And at that point, you're then like, there's nothing special, it's standard. At that point, it becomes the norm, right?
We have someone in chat who just nailed my opinion. Records are hard to write with IntelliSense. Yes. Like, maybe it's just my IntelliSense, but like every time I've ever used a record, IntelliSense is just barfed for me. Like, it does not do well.
I think one of the things you got to keep in mind is that we were constrained by the fact that existing Dart code had to pretty much still work. And so the way it was squeezed into switch and the way it was squeezed into list constructors and list literals had to still be, noticeably backward compatible, for 99% of the cases. It had to be backward compatible so it wouldn't break things. And I think they did a pretty good job within that constraint, because the only thing I was sort of disappointed by is that pattern constructors and pattern pull aparters, whatever that's called, destructuring. There we go.
Pull aparters is way better. It's pull apart. Nope, it's officially pull aparters. That's it.
I invent words every day.
Forget deconstruction. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they look a lot like function calls, but they're not quite there, and you can't replace a function call with passing a record instead. I'm hoping that someday they'll do that, because they're that close to being.
I think you have to remember that if you look at, so there's one thing. If you look at the syntax of a record, it is the same as the parameters of a function.
Right.
That's and it's designed to be that way. So it's exactly the same syntax as you would have on a function. Right.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's the key. So I was happy to see it. That looked a lot like callers and called, but I was disappointed that they didn't actually make that work, where you could just throw a record to bundle all the parameters here and make it a bundle over there, which is going to be cool. And they are talking. It was in the discussion. It just wasn't going to make it for.
Oh, you mean actually do you mean taking apart a record and using it as parameters to a function?
Yeah, the way that right now in JavaScript we can take all of our params as a bundle and call another another thing with that and all the parameters slotted right. No, you can't.
Is what I'm saying, where you're essentially putting out the fields from a record and setting them as the parameters on a function call, for example.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that. You can't do that. You can actually do that in Flutter with function.invoke, right?
It doesn't distribute it properly to the right things, though. You need sort of the concept of a record representing the same template that you would have used to call or to destruction.
The big thing, I think, the big thing that people forget. I mean, patterns are not inherently linked to where was it? Hang on a minute. Yeah. So, sorry. No, I've pressed on the wrong thing several times now. No, sorry. This one. Yeah. I mean, like the point here is one of the biggest things that records brought was multiple return types, right? So you can now bundle a success and an error response, for example, essentially replacing either, right? And having that kind of stuff built into the language is super, important pattern when you need it.
Yeah, that's my case, 100%. In JavaScript or TypeScript, you've got union types, and we don't have that in Flutter and records.
That's effectively, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we don't have union types is a feature. I also hate how TypeScript implements that, but
sometimes you need it.
Sometimes you need it.
That's why we're waiting a long time to implement it. It's been in the roadmap for a long time, the Dart funnel, to have union types, and just been kind of sitting in that left-hand column for a while. So, yeah, we have another question that's totally unrelated, which would be great. Get us just talking about some different things here today. Do you know a way to implement virtualization with Jaspr? Looking for something like Flutter's listview.builder. Doesn't listview.builder already work with Jaspr components? I would think it would. Oh, no, right, because it's listview. Right, we're not generating widgets. Is there a listview kind of thing in Jaspr? I don't remember.
That's just like why do I get this every so often? I need to raise an issue ticket with the Dart team. Has anyone had this where you go to so I'm going to on screen.
What are we looking at?
So I go to pub. Right. Yep. I'm in the API reference. I go, okay, I'm going to go look at this. No, Doc did not generate this page. And great, thanks.
Dart Doc took a break at this point.
Like this is not helpful. This is not helpful.
Yeah,
none of the pages
really,
work.
that's really ugly.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. We try a previous version. Oh look, we've only got 2 versions with documentation.
Yeah.
Let's try this one. Nope. Okay.
Nope.
No, you're. I cannot do that. There's an official website with documentation.
Yeah, that one's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know that there's a.
Maybe Killian's in the chat and he'll just answer it for us. That would be nice.
Maybe. I haven't seen him yet, but maybe he's out there.
Okay.
I could go.
Yeah, Killian, if you're out there, maybe you could chime in. Maybe you could join the live stream.
I'm not sure what inbuilt components there are, to be honest. Like the thing is, the way it works on web is a bit different, right? The idea here is that component is like a representation of, it's a widget, right? It's a series of like DOM entries, but in essence, it's down to the JavaScript of whatever library you're using to like manipulate those and change it. So in this case, the Dart code that you've got does that. I'm not sure if I'm trying to think of actually what. I suppose you do have column, right? You have column and row and a few things like that. Isn't that reference?
Right. I maybe they're looking for what Builder does in the sense that things that are off screen aren't yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's more like
yeah. But what I'm trying to work out here is there a built-in component like list view, right?
Oh,
that's a good question. I wonder if there's some way we can ask the internet.
Yeah, I wonder if there's this thing.
List view builder equivalent.
So coming back to the actual question, recycling, as it were, recycling views and virtualizing a list is definitely a hard proposition. It's not as easy as all that. I will say though that there is an aspect to this which is maybe less. And again, I haven't tried this with Jaspr directly, but DOM elements that are not on the screen, they're not rendered as such, right? So you still get that kind of virtual aspect to the rendering side of things.
So let me read.
I mean, the whole thing's a bit complicated. It's not gonna lie.
Let me read part of the answer that came back from Googling it here, AI Googling it actually. If your goal is an infinite scroll, loading more as user reaches the bottom, you don't use a builder. Instead, you render your list using a collection for pattern, and then add a document observer or a scroll listener to the container, and then trigger a state update that adds new items to your data list as you hit the scroll. So you kind of have to do it manually, basically, of what List View Builder is doing automatically for you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is as we're saying, that if that was built in, that's definitely something that would help. I mean, there's not a lot of reason to really. I'm trying to think of times when I actually want to do that.
Well, a chat interface where you could scroll back to older messages would be.
But then that becomes but that's a little bit different from like List View Builder, right? We're not talking about recycling views. We're talking about loading more content of that.
Yeah.
Right. That's more lazy loading, right?
Okay.
Yeah, you're not doing like page loading. In this case, he's talking about you get all the data and you want to. Yeah.
We could try building it
all out, but not have it actually do it.
He does have a follow-up in the chat saying it is for a chat with an infinite list of messages.
Oh, well, then that's not the same as List View Builder, right? So as Randall was saying,
and that's what I was talking about, how to do
as
this.
Saying,
so
scroll, and then,
rewind your tape about a minute and a half, and listen to me again. It's in there. Yeah. Tape. What's a tape? What am I talking about?
Yeah, implement page loading.
Oh. The days when I was doing stuff for cable access. Wow. All right.
We're back to that. We're back to that.
Sorry, there is another interesting thing. Jaspr supports Flutter embedding, so you could use a Flutter embedder just for the chat portion if you wanted to.
That would be kind of weird.
That's a good idea.
Well, I guess you wouldn't need SEO on it, so
that's what I'm saying. So you get all that stuff, and then you get the benefits of all still same Dart code, same stuff you can do, right? So maybe that helps as a quick win. But yeah, I definitely would raise this discussion / support ticket about that.
Yeah, I think the answer here is lazy layout needs to be done manually in Jaspr. We didn't see any immediate support for that in what we were looking at in the documentation.
So Jaspr, I think the point here about what Jaspr is and what it isn't, right? Jaspr is allowing you to use Dart to build websites, right?
Right.
It's giving you that initial. It's a bit like Shelf leading to build. Shelf, the package Shelf, giving you the ability to build APIs, right? Like it gives you that kind of glue, but it doesn't give you everything you need to make an API. It give you a whole logging system and a whole this and a whole that and everything else that you really need to do, authentication and everything else, right? So it's that kind of it provides some great features and fundamental features to be able to support that glue, but that's where it stops, right? So, if you need to build out something with a whole sort of drop down lists and combo boxes and things, well, that's your styling library on web. That's your layout system that you're using. So there's several different, and for the life of me, I've just completely forgotten what they are. There's several different libraries that you can get, which give you all the widgets that you can use on a website, like an admin panel, right? Come on, guys, help me out. I know what they are.
Libraries that help with layout.
I know what I'm talking about. Hang on, just in Jaspr pad, I saw it last sample.
We're talking about Flutter libraries?
Bulma CSS, for example, right? Yeah, this is on the website. Bulma CSS, right? So like you get all these buttons and a progress bar and all these things. This is nothing to do with Jaspr, right? These are literally, if you go in here, here's the progress bar.
Oh.
It's a status component that wraps a standard component from Bulma, right? Like it's the I'm trying to find the rest of them here.
So would Tailwind also work then with Jaspr?
Tailwind.
Yes, in fact, there's a package, a Tailwind Jaspr package.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
The point here is that nav bar here. Look, so here's there's nav bar at the bottom. Here's your nav bar. There's brand, whatever it is. You can see here, all there's a div tag with nav bar brand, nav bar burger. I guess this one it's on mobile, so it collapses. Is that this? Oh, it's this here. Sorry. Right, I guess. But the point being that tabs. I think it was tabs. The tabs is a good example here. So here's your tabs. Each feature of tabs, it generates a tab widget. Here's a tab widget, which is just an LI with an A. And the rest of this is all done with CSS, right? Like the CSS is what's providing your styling of your component, your layout of your component, and everything else. This is just providing the manipulation of the DOM tree. Does that help?
And we got a good point here. Even for other web frameworks, you need third-party libraries to achieve virtualization or lazy layout. So a port of that would be handy.
Although I do think that so this is where Jaspr kind of sits in a bit of a weird place because it tries to replicate Flutter's layout system, right? In using the box model from CSS. So it gives you column and row and a few other widgets like that. And I think, yeah, as you said, like list view builder and list view itself is one of those, things that you kind of expect. However, I will say that all scrolling events and scrolling on web is handled by the browser, right? So you got to be very cautious that you don't just make a worse scrolling experience than you have natively. So it all depends on what you're trying to load, but in your situation with a chat, you just load some, scroll back up, and then you've got it loading some more, right? You hook up to the scroll events on your widget on your DOM object. That's it. Load some more. Job done. Nice and easy. See it manually. It's not even complicated. Cool.
And use Signal for state management because it's dope.
Always.
Yes. Well, it's the simplest thing.
It is.
Cool.
All right. No more questions at the moment, so we can keep chatting amongst things. We can do live coding. Is there anything we want to live code yet today?
Yeah, we can do some live coding.
Yeah.
Live code that lazy loading if you like.
I've got a great idea. Simon, I want to see you live code zombo.com in Flutter.
I don't even know what that is. So
You don't know what zombo.com is?
We did this on the show before. We did this on the show like 6 months
Did we?
ago. Yes. We didn't
6
code.
months ago. I can remember what happened last week.
Yeah, it's okay.
I can't believe you've never heard of Zombocom. Everything is possible at Zombocom.
He'll just pull it up. It used to be a Flash website, but somebody made it just a MP3 file.
So
let me make sure. Let me make sure it's still what I think it is. If it's something else,
right? You don't want to pull it up
before you have them going to it. And any
it's right.
We're at the end of my hour 10 minutes ago, so I have to pop.
You're gonna miss Zombocom part, right? As we get to Zombocom.
I'm working. I won't miss it.
all right.
Next time.
Bye, Kaylee. Good seeing you.
So Pascal was in the comments early on, and he had an idea for Simon to build a custom message formatter for his logging package Chirp.
Yeah,
You
can just show Chirp. I mean,
is Journal Club done? Are we finished?
No, it's not done.
We'll
definitely do more of that.
He only gets 2 hours a week to work on it. It's right here.
Oh, somebody's asking about Simon's Dash collection. Yeah, there's a reason it's smaller.
They all open a window.
They'll out the window. They will be back. So will the books and everything else.
He sent them out for dry cleaning.
Yes,
in a new location at the moment.
Right. And Michael, you don't ask the same question twice.
Mm.
We were getting there. We were
You
getting
thought
there.
Get away with it because it was the only question.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
so. Technically, we did put him at the end of the queue, but he was the only question, so he went right back up.
Exactly, went right back to the front.
Yep.
Yes. Although I showed the wrong one of the two, so.
Zombocom is like a 2000s internet meme. Like that was
right. Stupid.
Don't waste your time on it, Simon. It is designed to waste as much of your time as you possibly can.
No.
We should spend at least 2 minutes talking about what time the show is going to be next week.
Yes,
let's do that.
Because the U.S. switches to DST this weekend. If we stay on Los Angeles time, this show will be an hour earlier for most of the world next week. If we stay on London time, it'll be the same for most of the world, but an hour later here in the U.S.
I thought in past
we've done it both ways. We've done compromises.
Most frequently, we stay with Google time, right? With the
there's only one country that matters, guys. There's only one country that matters. No,
Zimbabwe,
Australia.
The country of countries.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I think an hour earlier makes sense. Is anyone upset with that? Put that in the message.
That means sticking with U.S. Pacific. Sticking with U.S. Pacific.
So it'd be 1 hour earlier for Europe and other places that don't adhere to daylight savings as early as America, and then the week after.
Yeah, and then when it changes,
we match up. We line up.
Yeah, what is it? A week or two after? Yeah.
Something like that. It's basically twice a year for 1 or 2 weeks. We don't know where we're at. This is how it goes.
International. Everybody dealing with international.
We should just do UTC always, and then we do. What's what's the time that's used by like astronomical observation where it doesn't change at all? There's no daylight savings. There's no nothing.
It's also Julian time.
Huh?
Julian is another thing they use, but UTC.
There's a name for this one, which is like I don't think it's not UTC. It's another one, which is basically trying to track things without Earth getting in the way.
Well, Earth kind of gets in the way if you look down.
everything. Keeps following me about, tracks me everywhere. Doesn't leave me alone. It keeps getting stuck to my feet.
I'm gonna start
Earth
using
is attracted to me. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's the way it works, right?
Literally, that's
You're the
true.
king of the universe, right?
That's true. Earth is attracted to me. Thank God. Putting up. Yep. Really? Okay.
Right. What do we want to do, guys? Should we do? We do a bit of Jaspr, I guess.
Yeah, Jaspr sounds fun.
I mean, I've got Journal Cup here, but I'm also like the only thing that's left on that, I think. We did have like some little things, I guess.
We need to make a blogger with Jaspr so we could have Jaspr the friendly post.
Ooh, yes, Randall, A+, Randall. That's perfection.
I just thought of that. I just put that together.
Yeah. A+.
This is why I don't work in the office anymore. They won't let me stick around. Please stay home, Randall. That way we can disconnect you on Zoom. So are we doing a Jaspr thing? Hey, there's been a lot of recent changes to Jaspr. Maybe we could just review the changelog and kind of see if there's something cool that we might want to play with.
Give me a second.
While Simon is pulling some stuff up, I just want to remind everyone the Flame Game Jam is coming up. It looks like, depending where you look, it's either starting tomorrow or Friday. I'm not entirely sure which. In the Discord, it says Friday. On the itch.io page, it says tomorrow. So, but it is coming up. I think I'm probably going to participate this year. So, yeah, definitely. Definitely, if you want to try your hand at game development, we will find out the theme and the parameters on the launch stream that they're going to do. And looks like it's going to be a fun time.
We always like having a fun time.
And I should have a new posting to my Dart and Flutter channel, hopefully today or tomorrow. I keep pushing it off because I keep being. It's going to be a talk on signals that I'm actually going to narrate. So no AI this time. So I've done like 3 things just to get the channel. But I'm actually going to narrate this. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer because I got to work out what I'm going to.
It looks like Bluefire has unified their pages, and they both say the 6th to the 15th now.
Excellent. Appreciate that, John. Cool. So Friday, starting Friday. That's exciting.
Nice.
I am. I was going to say something else. I forget what it was.
You're going to say you're brilliant and the world owes you a favor.
No. That's you, Simon. You're brilliant. No.
And you're about to take over the tri-state area. So.
Yes, I am going to take over the tri-state area. That is the plan.
Yep.
No, I actually do enjoy playing around a Flame. It's fun to dink around in there and do silly stuff. So any opportunity to do that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I thought, because Randall was talking about his new videos that were coming out, I thought my next video was going to be done by now. I legitimately thought it was. It's sitting in parts all over my desk. The electronics are all working. It's all there. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's just, I thought it would be done.
Never give deadlines. You know this.
No.
Right.
He's stuck in
Probably
post.
not going to be till Saturday now or Sunday.
Stuck in post for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Well, that's the thing. Go ahead, Randall.
I was just going to say, one of the things about being a GDE is it's publish or perish. And I keep worrying about, am I doing enough articles and videos and this stuff, because I do this, which gets quite a distribution, quite a bit of GDE points. So that's nice. But I still need to have my own materials going out there to prove my worthiness as being a member of the GDE. So.
Is there like a GDE point system? Like, is there a leaderboard that you can log into and it's like, Randall got 50 GDE points this week?
We can't see each other's points, but essentially, yes.
There is points,
The administrators are watching scores on all of us. So that's how they decide who comes out of the program at the end of the year. So yes.
Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry, Randall. I was trying to be funny and joke around, but no.
It's literal. No, it's literal. I laugh about it as being like GDE points, but yeah, no, it's in order to get this, you're basically doing what you'd be doing anyway. And so if you're not happy doing that sort of naturally, then you shouldn't be in the program. And that's why they're judging all the time. And that's why I'm always looking for a place I can give a virtual talk, or I can, I've been horrible at writing Medium articles. Here I am, a professional technical writer, and I haven't written any seriously long Medium articles. I think it's because I hate Medium's formatter. It's almost Markdown. Yeah. Almost. Why didn't they just make it Markdown? Or have a Markdown editor input?
Because that would be nice. They have a better way to do it.
Anyway, that's why I don't write much for that. So
I tried writing a Medium article, but it was pretty mid. I just couldn't predict where I was going to go with it. So
yes,
we lost Simon. Right. So this is unlimited dad joke time. Oh, he's back. The dad jokes have to end.
Yes. No.
Hang on a minute. Problem solved.
Happens once every show. Show.
So, should we do some Jaspering?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Jaspr the friendly post.
Mr. Verdant is suggesting that you create the infinite canvas that you built before in Jaspr.
I know I read that and I was like, which infinite? There's many things I've done like that. I need a bit more info than just that. I'm sorry.
Change log.
Oh, was that the bounds one? Yeah, there was like a wait a minute. Was that the one with like the 4 colored rectangles or something? I can't remember what we were doing. Things about.
And you could use Signal with Jaspr to show that it can actually work together.
You could.
Yeah,
we could not.
That sounds like a fun one that I might try. I'll put that in my list of things to attack on my channel.
2D one that Eloy asked about, yeah.
So you can run across. This is big enough for everyone. Let's say plus Jaspr create, and it gives you a choice to choose. You basically choose one of these project presets in here for. Let me just make this. There we go. So you've got mode, routing, and Flutter and backend, and this is like really helpful. Just this, each one of these gives you like a slightly different configuration of your project. So the key one being mode, they're described here, but in essence, it's kind of interesting because they are described on the websites under rendering modes here. So you might want to do a static site, right? Now, this is very important. Static sites are really powerful, right? And that doesn't mean they can't run JavaScript. It just means that there's no interaction with a server-side component, right? But the key concept here, and this is about SEO. So there's another SEO point here, and that is, it does actually on the website. It actually have quite a few like pros and cons as to why you might want to choose one over another, and there's a bit more about under the SEO section. But in truthfulness, it's kind of like you're rendering at build time, and now you've got HTML for each of the pages of your website, and then you can then just pop that on a bucket, on GitHub Pages, wherever you have, you can do a static site, right? And it'll just work. And it can include JavaScript and everything else, but the key here is that you've got the DOM objects that have been pre-rendered. And this is a kind of interesting thing. The way it works is that Jaspr essentially runs the build of the widget tree in Flutter. It's like Jaspr, right? To build the DOM tree and then renders that out as HTML. So you can actually do in your build method, and it's very, very counterintuitive to a Flutter developer, but in your build method, you can actually go out to disk, read in like a JSON file, and produce, iterate through the data in there and produce like a bunch of like posts for a blog. You can do all that, and that's a static website then, right? So you're using that sort of system to essentially build out your content.
I will go so far as to say most people who are using WordPress right now to build their websites, or historically, should have just been using a static website builder.
Oh yeah, totally. and they wouldn't leave themselves open to like being hacked, right? But this is the other thing to say. There's nothing to hack. It's running on the client side. It's all running in their browser. There's no code. It's not calling any APIs. There's no PHP code running on a server which can get shell on or whatever else. It's So very good, secure way of doing a website. This comes from like caching and everything else. Most content is like write once, read many, right? That's a very common pattern, right? Especially with internet-driven stuff. So, the idea that you can statically render a website once when it changes. So you want to add a blog post. Okay, you add your blog post to your Markdown file, press build, and then press deploy, and you're done. You've now got your new blog post on your website. It's that simple. The server mode is when you've got what's called server-side rendering, which is basically very much that the WordPress, now we're back to that PHP code, right? It's now Dart code running on the server side that sends down the HTML and JavaScript and CSS to the browser. And then that can be read, and the DOM tree and everything else we're talking about rendering once at build time now gets rendered on each request. Now, what you can do if you're worried about sort of like the number of reads and causing lots of server cost, essentially, you're not going to see that many sort of until you get sort of insane numbers. Obviously, put budgets on your cloud hosting. However, you can just put yourself a cache in front of that, right? So a lot of the cloud providers offer CDN support. So you put your content delivery network in front with high cache values on various bits of content, and now it only goes to the server when the cache expires, right? On the CDN. So you basically get to limit the amount of requests that are hitting your Dart server-side code. All right, that's
again though, like if you're heavily caching everything, you should probably consider just doing a static site. Like you need to have a specific reason.
I'm gonna caveat that because I agree with what you're saying there, making it, but the difference here is that it's not all one or the other, right? Static is
I'll give you that.
Once. The idea of server-side rendering, you get to control what is held for a long time and what is actively dynamic. And you can have an API now that the JavaScript running on the browser can call back to get and update content, right? So you can actually have things like a web page with a login infrastructure and everything else. Most of the site is all heavily cached, but it's only the dynamic bits like the person's like shopping cart or whatever else. That is actually an API is called from JSON or is rendered DOM tree on a request just for that portion of the content.
Okay, I'm with you now.
And then client mode is very similar to both of those. The idea being that it is Dart code that is run on the client side. There's subtle differences between that and static, right? Because basically what client mode is that when the JavaScript runs on the browser, then it generates the DOM components. So not pre-generated, right? So this is the problem here. This is kind of. And I'll talk about. There is a bit on here in the docs around SEO. I think there might be a table even, maybe not. But in essence, it's about this this notion that when a bot, like say the Google crawler, goes to your page, it needs to be able to see the content of your page immediately, as soon as possible, right? Now, modern sites, it understands, and most of the modern crawlers, search engine crawlers now understand that most sites have some sort of JavaScript that has to run for a certain period of time to render the page to get the content that they're expecting. However, and this is where Flutter falls down in this fact, because there might be a large amount of code that has to download. It may time out before it gets there, or it may just give up before it gets to that, or it may not even try at all, So the idea of a static site means that you get ahead of time all of your tags in the code, you get all your DOM tree. It's literally ideal for SEO, right? The client side still works with SEO, but now you have to have JavaScript that runs to generate the DOM components for the browser for the crawler to actually see them, right? And again, if your code becomes too big or there's a problem there, then it may not get to that point. The definitions of how the bots work are specifically not given to us as the public, because someone could game the system otherwise, right? But there is lots of information out there. You can understand a bit of it. There's hints here and there about what it might do. But the honest answer is, the sooner you get your page rendered, the faster you get it rendered, the better. And that's there's a couple of websites out there. One that Google offer called Page Insights, which will give you, I don't know if you've ever seen Page Insights, but it will give you really good information about how a browser interprets your web page on mobile and desktop, and what you can change to make it more performant and better. And it's completely free of charge. Just run it. That's what you need for SEO. That's what you need to get your performance down, so that your page is going to load lightning fast and be not just good for your people that are actually browsing the website, but good for the bots as well.
Does Google Lighthouse still exist? Back in my web dev days, I used that.
Sounds familiar. Maybe it's
it was a whole thing that did like a whole set of analysis on your web page. It did page loading times, it did SEO stuff, it did accessibility stuff, and then it gave you like
that's basically Page Insights. I think that's taken.
Okay. They might have changed the name of it then. Yeah.
Lighthouse is probably the beginning name for it.
Yeah. So it's so funny you talk about this, Simon, because like back in my web dev days, I was on a project and we spent months like building this website and optimizing it for speed, like making it as fast as we humanly could. And then the marketing team was like, all right, we need you to add all of our tracking software on it. And it immediately just went because
Lighthouse is basically the same as Page Insights, but Lighthouse is running Chrome DevTools on your machine.
Got it.
Where Page Insights is running server side on Google servers to manage.
So it's the same thing. Got it.
So I'm looking at here.
Oh.
Yeah, developer.chrome.com/lighthouse or docs.lighthouse/lighthouse.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Jaspr, right? So static server client, there are three options. Routing, as you know, that you can have single page websites. So the idea is that you're using anchors to route to sort of route your page. As an example, it will generate your example using that, or you got your multi-side multi-page rendering. Now, what is not clear on here, I think, in the way that it describes this, is that when you render it static mode, what's actually happening is it's the same as having server-side generated code. You can write server-side code, but pre-rendered components at build time. So your code still has to work as if it's running on the server, but the difference is when you press build, instead of building an output that's run on server, it builds an output that's run that's built at that time, right? So just to be kind of pointed at that. So you can have a multi-page site that's static in nature, right? And it can do that. Not a problem at all. And then the Flutter piece is if you're going to embed a Flutter web app inside of your Jaspr site in some way, then you need to make sure you've got embedding. Or, and here's the really cool thing, you can do plugins only, and that way you can use any plugins, Flutter plugins that support web in Jaspr directly. So that's pretty cool.
Dope.
And then finally, if you've got a back end, do you want to like have it preset up with Shelf, basically, or some other sort of thing? You can use this, so it will combine the server-side rendering with Shelf and give you something where you can expand an API from it and so on. Does that kind of give everyone like the kind of basics? Maybe went a bit deeper.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you could use Flutter web plugins inside of Jaspr. Like that. I mean, it's logical. I just didn't know that you could do it, which seems super useful, actually.
You have to enable it because it has to actually link in with the Flutter startup stuff. But once you've done that, then any number of Flutter things. And what's great is they're lazy. They're not going to actually fire up until you go to that navigation on your site. So you can still have really quick loading times that isn't loading any Flutters at all for your home pages and your main navigation, and then have a Flutter app somewhere that you get to eventually, which is best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. Jinx.
Yeah, I know. Well, brilliant minds think alike. So what's our excuse? All right.
First, contentful paint. 2.7 seconds. Largest contentful paint, 15.1 seconds. What are they doing? 320 milliseconds. Someone's phone is going off. 0.27.
Not mine.
Speed is 6.5. Yeah, so this is actually showing you some of the frames that you're getting to show like what's happening. There's obviously an animation that's occurring. Render blocking 1.8 and what's causing it. 120 milliseconds on downloading the CSS for the website. Now, there's a good point here, right? You know, that's like cached first of all. Maybe that's not a problem. Again, the fonts come from Google CDN, click notification bar. And so on. Estimate earnings. They can earn a saving of 2 megabytes effectively by improving the images. So they're saying that, oh, you can take this 1.2 meg image, which I'd say is pretty big, to be honest, into a 797 gigabyte file. So you need transparency on web. You've got PNG as your option, or you've got some of the newer formats that support transparency. Oh my God, it just left my mind, but yes.
The web aid or whatever is.
Say again. AVIF, WebP. There you go. Literally says it on the page in front of me.
WebP. Yeah, WebP.
Yeah, WebP and AVIF both support transparency. It's one of the big problems that JPEG and PNG had differences on, right? When you wanted to have alpha level, an alpha map of your image and have transparency, you just couldn't do it JPEG, which meant that you had to go to PNG. PNG had to be full color ARGB, which basically meant that the file size went up. So, yeah, again, an MP4 file, 5 meg, right? So, anyway.
Interesting. I just put this on my personal website, and I got a 73 on performance.
Oh, you're better than Flutter.
Better than Flutter, yeah. 94 on accessibility, 100 on best practices, 92 on SEO.
I don't dare put it on my website. My website is Shoemaker's Children Suffering. And
so
things moved around.
Test app. We're going to do mode. What do you again? What do you want to do? We'll just do static.
I'm using Hugo right now, Randall, but I am thinking in the near future I'd like to switch everything over to Jaspr.
Yeah, me too. So I want to learn enough about it that I can migrate it. I have a huge website with many, many pages that have a lot of really good SEO because they've been there for decades, that I want to convert over, and it's all done in Perl template toolkit. And so I'd have to get, I have to teach. I have to teach. Hey, it got Slashdot in place. I mean, it became the backend for dynamic websites in the day back in the day. I mean, I mean sites like City Search and Ticketmaster and Slashdot were all done with template toolkit behind the scenes. So. Yeah,
I was tempted to give everyone an aneurysm and say what's Slashdot, but I know.
Right. You know, I date myself with that as well. You're right. It still exists.
It does. I spent so much time on Slashdot back in the day, and then I moved over to Dig, and then I moved over to Reddit, and now I want to go back to Slashdot.
Yeah, there you go.
The internet was at its peak in Slashdot.
I was just thinking, I don't even know what my ringtone is on my phone, because I never switch it off of silent mode ever. And so I don't.
It's one way to do it.
It actually was. It is in silent mode. It was my MacBook that is connected to it. Decided it was going.
Yeah. My Mac does that now too. I have to remember to silence everything, or it starts being weird. Because I have the.
Let's go through this, shall we?
Simon's desperately trying to get the show back on track.
Oh, Simon, we're still doing a show? I forgot.
So
is that why our faces are still down there? Is that why our faces are still there?
Hang on a second. Yeah. So actually, see over here on the left, we've got main client and main server as the two entry points. Funny enough, this is the entry point that runs when it's compiled to JavaScript to run on the client side. This is like client app is like a built-in system that will run your Java component, your Jaspr components on the client side. So you don't have to do it, make any change in here if you don't want to. But if you want to do your own initialization or something early on, you can do it. And then the server side one, again, if it's statically rendered or it's doing server side rendering, this is what it's going to build. And again, it's like run app, very similar to Flutter. And here we run a document, and here we give it a title, we can give it some top level styles, body. And what's really nice in here, which I think most people, it doesn't show in this initial create, which I think I'm a bit upset about, is it doesn't show you meta and head. So head is the head section of your HTML document, but in here you can add whatever tags that you want. So if you've got like a link tag for a link in a style sheet, or like the Roboto font, off you go, you can do that, and that'll be on every page of your site now, right? Like that's that simple, right? The styles side of things is you can now use the inbuilt CSS styling like this inside of Jaspr, and then this is rendered into inline CSS in the DOM HTML tree, right? So instead of it being like a file that the browser's downloading, is inline, which can be more or less, efficient depending on what you're doing. Obviously, this means that this CSS is now cached with the DOM tree of that page, not independently shared amongst most pages. Even though it may be shared in your Dart code and it'll be rendered multiple times effectively for each of your pages. All right, so that's enough of that. And then what happens is when you run Jaspr serve or whatever else, it's going to build these two files, the options, client options and server options. Those you can leave blank. This is the configuration that Jaspr needs to build properly. And we'll get to that in a second. I'll show you it. App, here's an example app entry point. And this is the key bit here. The app client is it tells Jaspr that this can be run on the client side. It doesn't have to be rendered on the server side, right? So there's a little notation there. So as you'll see here in the example, in the state, if K is web, hello client, otherwise hello server, right? This is literally saying I'm running in JavaScript, right? So this means that the code is running in the browser, versus if this is init state is being called and it's been done on the server side before it's sent down to the app, or it's being rendered the DOM tree at build time, then it's going to call this code here because it's not running on the web. There is other checks. There is context. There's a few other checks somewhere. I can't remember where they are now, right? But that you can check to see what mode you're in and how it's working. Right. Back to where I was. Yeah, and then you got build, and as you can see here, his might be a sort of basic sort of web page main. You got a router with a shell route, which uses the fragment. I've done I did a single page website, didn't I? No, I did a double. I don't remember what I did now. Pass. Anyway, so then we got slash and slash about, giving us the 2 pages, rendering those 2 widgets. So very similar to what you've put about Flutter, right? Nothing different there. And then finally, every component has a styles getter, which you can override with your list of style rules, essentially CSS, and that will get rendered into the same web page where this component is being used. Whether or not you want to use that is another thing, but it can be helpful to just bring in the CSS required for that page without having to load anything else. All right, and then finally we've got in sort of the build example here, we've got there's our about page with some tags in that, and we've got the home page with the logo and tags in that, and then finally we've got like a theme just for some statics and sketch color, and then the shared header that's used on every page. And this looks at the active route location to determine should it put the active class on the various div tag inside to make the component highlighted. And if we look down here, div.active, what it's like when it's active, it makes these changes here, right? So this is your kind of style sheet that's applying to this when this widget is being used. I kind of like this idea that this might there might be a mode. I kind of like the idea that there might be a mode. This doesn't exist in Jaspr, but I like the idea of having a single CSS file, or I don't know, maybe multiple CSS files, but one that's rendered out of all of these. So based on the components that your website uses, it will generate a CSS file and have that kind of shipped and linked to your head section of your page, and then every page shares it as a course. But that's not how this works. But, that might be an interesting change to see. And finally, everything inside the web folder of your project is actually essentially statically served. So if you've got, like, let's say what's it called? Well-known directory, so you can do like deep linking in your mobile app or something like that. You're going to make that directory in here. You're going to put your Apple association file in there, and your asset links JSON file for Android in here. Again, anything like the favorites icon, anything else, like if you had and we can do it in here. I put a file in here and call it main.css. There you go. And we can have like I don't know, sure. We can do like a bit of CSS, and then inside of our server component, as I said before, we could actually do rel style sheet and then do /main.css, right? And that's going to pull this from this directory. This becomes the root of your project, right? Okay, so we're going to run this. So it's Jaspr serve. There are some other parameters to Jaspr serve, but that'll do the job. He says, and then he's on the wrong directory. What was it? It was something test.
Can happen.
Test that. So this is going to spin up a build daemon, and then it's going to essentially do all the code generation stuff it needs to do. Builder's JIT and doing whatever it needs to do. It's a bit longer the first time you do it, obviously, because it's initializing everything, and there's a bunch of stuff it's going to be doing in the Dart tool directory to build everything up.
And that Jaspr service watching the directories, right? So if you update
it watches
something,
the directory and any changes made, it automatically hot reloads and updates.
Cool.
Which is super nice.
Very cool.
And here we got the Dart VM service, so it does hot reload and give it does get this. This says server started, but you have to give it a second, and then it will trigger it. I think there's a bit of a red herring there, because then it kicks in and says, okay, now I'm running, right? So now you can see it's serving on this local address, and
it should say crawling on the first, crawling and then running.
So
we're not quite up to pace yet.
There's the Jaspr test site.
Oh, counter app. What again?
Yeah, as you can see here, you can see hello server being output on the server side, not on the client side. And if I go into the view page, not view page source, again, inspector, and go to the console, you see hello client being output here, right?
Dope.
So it's the same. It's the same code being run. This is essentially running in server mode because we're developing, and then when you build, it does it statically, right? The output is static, right? This is a static website. So what's going to happen is, as I said, when you're developing the app, anything that's run on the browser side is going to be saying hello, is going to be in K as web, and anything on the server side is this. This now means that if you wanted to interact with, say, the APIs of the browser, it will try and render them first and fail to render them because the server isn't a browser, right? So you use the universal, it's called, was it universal web package? I don't know if anyone's heard of this. So let's just get some things up here just so that everyone's aware of what I'm talking about. So officially, the support for web browser was moved out of Dart HTML. Actually, I think it's Dart API. Well, so if you go to the if you go to the Dart SDK directory, you'll find that web is now considered legacy, and you'll see all of these packages down here are now deprecated, right? So there's the don't know. You may get AI generated code that tries to use these packages because that's what was known in the back of the day as doing web, right? You don't want to use these. These have all been deprecated now in favor of a package called web, made by the Dart team. This allows them to essentially iterate on web outside of the main scope of Dart, right? Because previously, if they wanted to update those Dart packages, they would have to do a new release of Dart, which obviously the two things should not be that tightly coupled, right?
Right.
It was needed back in the day in Dart 1 because of the way that the system worked, and Dart's moved way beyond that. So now the big key that made this possible is the JS interop stuff, right? So interrupting with JavaScript was very heavily part of the build process inside of Dart. They've lifted it out, and actually now you've got a fairly more comprehensive JavaScript interrupt. It kind of works more like extension typing, right? But you can wrap those JavaScript objects and use them inside of Dart land. And when your Dart code is running in the browser, it knows how to unpack that. And it's more explicit when you do that, right? You actually have to be explicit about you're doing it. Where in Dart HTML before it was implicit, it would just do it for you. Now you do 2 JS and 2 Dart on any of your typing if you want to like go between the two worlds, which means that there is a lot less overhead. So instead of every object passing through that kind of conversion that's happening all the time, that no longer is the case. Anyway, so the web package is now floating around. However, again, this will only work on your browser. So this is again one of these. If you look at the actual implementation of the web library, will it take me to it? Take me to it. You can see there's your JS interop, web generator, web. Let's see. So a lot of this is going to be generated code. So what do I want to pick? Blimey. Resize observer. Sure, that'll do. So what I'm trying to show you here is just a little bit of this. So you can see here, JS library. This indicates this is in the browser. And it's going to use the JS interrupt package. And then here's your extension type I was just talking about, right? So this is a Dart class that is extending the underlying JavaScript object, right? And this running gives us this ability to have these lightweight things. And now you can see external factory, external. External is this keyword saying there's no implementation here. This is provided externally. And then the JS interrupt library is managing that kind of link up for you. So if you want to like link up to an external, let's say you've got a third-party JavaScript library and you want to use it inside of your Jaspr code or Dart code on the client side, then all you need to do is define a class like this, use JS interop, and it mark the functions as external, and that's it. You know, it will do the access conversion for you, right? Anyway, so blah blah blah. But you see all these external. Anyway, back to the thing. Again, this won't work in your browser. So this is where Universal Web comes in. So Universal Web is basically has a stub implementation of all of web package for non-web platforms. And this way, your code doesn't crash out when you're doing it, and so on and so forth. It doesn't have compiling problems, which is the issue. So okay, back to where we were. Let's go and add a test app, Dart Pub add Universal Web, and then your server app reloaded. What did we want to demo here? I've just gone to like here's how Jaspr works and not actually got to anything.
We actually do have a question in chat. Could we go through building it and putting it up on GitHub pages?
Or somewhere.
Sure. I mean, to be honest, it's a lot easier than you think. But yeah, we can do that.
Before you hop into that, I have a 2 p.m. meeting, so I need to get back to my work PC. So this is probably a good exit ramp for me. But yeah, it was good hanging out with you guys as always. Thank you so much for having me on, and I will talk to you guys later.
You're gonna watch this later, right? See how it's done.
See how it goes.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
All right, cool. Catch you later.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Yep. And I also do have to jump for another meeting.
What did I say? I said Jaspr and everyone leaves. Yeah, all right, no worries. Have a good one, John.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Universal Web sounds like a part of Acme Inc.
It does kind of have that kind of.
Just be a division. This is our Universal Web division.
Right. Where are we going with this? So, I'm sure there was a whole point of what we were trying to do. What was the initial request? It was loading more on a chat window, wasn't it? That was it.
It was the infinite scroll.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. So let's get rid of let's just get rid of all this. I have chosen. Let's go preserve. 120. Gonna be no good for this size. Right. All right. So that. Yeah. Oh, because it's compilation errors. It's not liking me right now. There we go. Says to build a new Jaspr site. Thanks very much.
All right, because you deleted the counter, and now you got to delete everything that talks about the counter.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we have a basic site thing going on.
Yes.
Trying to get this in a reasonable.
A dog welcoming you to the site, Mr. Jaspr.
All right, so let's get rid of some of this stuff. Don't want that.
Yeah, I don't think this is happening. He's not going to start over Journal Club in Jaspr. No. Oh yeah, but I guess that's just Journal Club, right? It's already an HTML website.
Oh, it's because I'm refreshing when it's trying to. There we go. I suppose I could. What's this doing? Main is flex. So a good example of this, right, is Nats. What this is doing here. Let me just show you here. If I save this and refresh, you'll see we got that centered. If I inspect the page, view the page source. There's the rendered CSS for this. What you see over here on the right. So this is the rendered page that's been server-side delivered, and then this is what the page would look like if it was statically rendered right now, right? But again, rather than keeping that in here, you can also say, okay, I'm going to drop that in here, my CSS file, right? And now what's going to happen is refresh the page. It's no longer in the static site. However, if you look in here in the tiles now, to main.css and main.css has it, right? So we're just moving that around effectively, right?
See, that's my biggest fear in switching my project over to Jaspr is I have to relearn all the stuff about CSS and stuff that I've deliberately forgotten after the decade.
No, you don't. No. Honestly, you can take what you've got right now, and you can one-to-one convert it. Jaspr has no limit. You don't have to use CSS, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You can just use a table and do this and that and the other. I mean, there's no like requirement to do it this way, right?
Sure.
It's pretty much a one-to-one on like everything. And if you don't have like so the DOM sub package here, like DOM, is what has all these tags, right? And these are just wrappers around the standard HTML tags, giving you type protected parameters, right? So not just doing strings and hoping for the best.
Cool.
But there's a bunch of these that are already provided, right? A bunch of like these kind of sub packages and so on. And where are they here? Client DOM Jaspr thing, and then inside DOM you've got all that kind of classical components that you're kind of used to, right? So
right. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at Tailwind there for a while because it was at least like some higher level stuff, and then there were as many knobs and dials on Tailwind were in CSS, and it's like I'm trying to get something that's just done. I want just a design system that I can just kind of stay within. I'm one of the
problem
boring
is,
kind of.
Yeah, I think the problem here is it the whole Tailwind does work. Yeah, there's other ones. There's alternatives, right? Anyway, so let's not go there. We're not going there right now. Right. Anyway.
Yes.
So we've got a section. Let's modify our CSS here. I do not want the would rather have sure, let's do that. That's not right. See, this is where
Wonder how good does Augment understand this stuff? Would it be able to suggest things for you?
Yeah, it's more about the box model. Here, there we go. So let's do okay, that'll do. So this is the flex model, right? That you can put your DOM objects into. You can go read up about how the different display models work in CSS. I won't go into that.
Yeah.
But as you can see, we're saying flex. It's in a column. I want to wrap when you get to the end. This time I want padding on this, and then the section inside the column is again a flex. And it has a column that's centered, which and it's to grow to fill the parent flex object basically. This is the same as putting like expanded in, right? Anyway, that's enough of way too much detail than what we actually care about right now and what we're doing. So, all right, back to here. So we wanted to do a chat list, right? All right, let's do that. Chat list. It's gonna be a stateful component. It's got a chat list. There you go. And our chat list is going to return back a div tag.
So this is the view side rather than the model side, right? Are you going to put the model in there too?
Would display grid work better? I guess if you wanted to do a grid. Sorry, what you're saying, Randall?
I'm saying that this is view rather than model. You're putting the model as part of the value of this view. So your chat list is data, and this is the representation.
No. I'm saying this is the view. This is the chat lists. The list of chat. Maybe this should be message list. Chat message list. There you go. Right? Does that kind of make sense? We could have let's have a model in here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There still needs to be a model of chat messages themselves.
Message model. What do we want in a message model?
How about that?
Thanks very much. That would be helpful. Maybe
Daytime now, daytime UTC now, or whatever, right? Whatever that's called. What is that called? Daytime now. What's the one that generates the in UTC to start with?
Timestamp.
Timestamp. Okay.
All right. Whoops. Bottom fingers. Right. That'll do, right? Color like in Twitch. What? What do you mean? Right. We'll use some. Should we use some AI? Should we use some AI? Speed this up. I'm slightly concerned that we don't have much time.
Yeah, daytime.timestamp, right? That's the one I was looking for.
All right, let's in here we can say our chat message list. I guess we'll have like messages, and then we need a set of message model. Oops. We don't really want them, do we? I guess we got kind of two components to this, right? Let's get a list displaying on screen, and then we'll make it lazy load, right? Like, let's treat them as two separate tasks right now. All right.
Yes, sounds good.
So let's do this. Let's have chat message take a list of message model.
Have AI generate your sample messages.
That's what it's going to do. Yeah.
Yep. So handy.
Perfect use of AI.
Yep. We want it to hallucinate a bunch of things. You are getting sleepy. You're getting very sleepy.
Example.
You will now start spouting random names.
2 users.
Hello there. How are you? Hi, user one.
In a sample chat using the message model about 2 users talking about the
My
best
name is user one. What's your name?
Flutter. There you go.
User 2. Maybe we're related. What is it thinking about? Really, you got the first 2 pretty fast.
No, because I told it to do about Flutter.
Oh, look, Alice Bob. Oh, hot reload is a game changer. We should read it.
Even longer, and let the conversation go into other Flutter and Dart related topics. I should give it a number like 30 messages. I just said longer.
Right? You could, if it was Gemini, you could point it at last week's show and say, extract the dialogue between Simon and Randall.
Don't do that. Right. Let's get back to what we're doing here. I guess the nice thing about look at that. Move.
Yes. If we got Alice and Bob, shouldn't we also have, what's the eavesdropper guy? What's his normal name? Eddie?
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Well, Alice and Bob are the two names that typically use in crypto discussions. Eve is the interceptor, right?
Eve and Adam.
Eve. Well, no, it's Alice and Bob as the primary communicators, and then Eve is the eavesdropper. That's the bad guy. It's pretty traditional in crypto talk. I think they use Charlie for C. I can't remember. Somebody out there probably knows and probably doesn't care. Any worse than
so we have a mock messages, and there we go. And now we're using them. And inside of chat list, we're going to want to render those. So thanks, AI. So the advantage of doing CSS in, wait, give me a suggestion. It's not styles, isn't it? Styles? I know I've lost it. Why is that kind of not popular? Okay. Oh, wow. Undo this anyway. Get to what I want. Oh, it wasn't even in there. Put that back. Sure. Oh, not there. Not there. I think it's just because it's marked at CSS, right? Now I come to think about it. Anyway, so we'll do we can just do this. Let's see what this does. Yeah, okay. Let's see styles not being referenced. I feel like I've done that. Or does it have to be on the something doesn't smell right here. Yeah, on state. Is this coming from a that's not making any sense to me right now. Maybe there's a you know what? No, I know what it is. I'm an idiot. I know what it is. It hasn't built it yet, so it doesn't refer to it. I'm an idiot. Okay. So let me just show you what I'm talking about here. If you go to main server options, you'll see the reference in here to. Oh, it's not because I just removed it, but you'll see the references to what it uses to build everything. And let's see what's going on here. If it's built anything. Reload. Okay, we have chat list. Let's go into our home and drop the things that we don't need. Call this chat. And then our chat list will drop our statement here, and we'll say for yeah, that'll do. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Augment Code. You're a lifesaver. You make typing fun.
Styles Builder. There you go. See, access can be used in private classes or its members. Ah, yes. This would make sense because that should be public. They're styles now. Okay. And now there's our messages. And then if I remember rightly, there it is referenced in here. So this tells it how to render it out.
Oh, look at that. You got Alice and Bob.
Here we have our awesome chat.
Yeah.
Why have you done it like that?
Alice and Bob ought to be alternatingly aligned left and right, but let's not make it too complicated.
Yeah, we'll do that as well. So let's do yes.
Yeah, build to.
What's the
ISO 8601?
This one. Let's go with that one. Okay.
Yeah. Yummy. Why me? Great format.
One. Render.
Render onto Jaspr that which is Jasper's.
I may have got a bit overzealous with my. Okay. Terminate. Control C. Run it again.
Broke it.
Right. Come on. Right. Whilst that's doing that. So, okay. So we've got a bunch of messages. We need to alternate the appearance left and right. And because of our time constraint, I'm going to use some error. I can't be bothered with the CSS, I'll be honest with you. Okay, refresh. There we go. I want the date time in there. Is it not like a full? Well, there was like a full.
Yeah.
I thought there was one with like month and it's time. It's because date format, time format, isn't there? No, is it the same thing? Yeah, you got HMS right for time.
Yeah.
I suppose it was like a full.
Well, there's like 8601 or so, which would be just like.
No, I was thinking about like. I wonder what happens if I do like a.
Perfect. Yeah, I was thinking there is like a default.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, let's do a heading 4. All right. That'll do. Okay. Let's do a message. What's this?
Having month first makes my brain go sideways.
Yeah.
Welcome to America, where this is the way we do it. Therefore, Flutter defaults to that. Besides, that means today is that wonderful day where you should start projects March 4th. As in begin to march. Oop, either you're being quiet or I can't hear you anymore. Oh, okay. There you go. You were being quiet.
Oh,
being gated out. Gray.
Okay. That's kind of nice, yeah.
One rim.
Cool.
It's getting a little better. Rounded boxes.
Really? There we go. Okay, and let's add in a margin. And now let's.
Yeah, that's looking good.
Why is padding being applied to each item? That doesn't make sense, does it? No. Interesting.
Probably concentrate on the infinite scroll stuff pretty soon.
Yeah. So fiddling around with this. I don't want to give it. What I want to do here is just say a message and then have a. Let's do this. Let's see if we can get it, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's see if the AI can make this work. Okay. I have.
Tell it to use signals.
Don't need any signals, right? Let's see.
Well, value notifier, at least you're going to have some communication. I guess you don't. Right, because it's all going to be just call down and call back. And it will go, no.
See how well yeah. It goes, no, do it yourself, you lazy bastard.
What do you think I am? Some kind of thinking machine?
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
Yes. Who do you think I am? Pattern search. Read file. Pattern search for author Alice.
Yeah, I know we don't need date for every message, Richard, but I just can't be bothered with the format thing. Like there's a whole duration. I think I'd say 3 seconds ago you got this message, right? Like ideal world, but it's an example, right?
Alice doesn't chat here anymore.
We could do just the time, you're right.
It's thinking.
Oh, very
somewhere,
fast today. Oh,
somewhere, a data center in Cambridge is spinning madly to try to generate your answer to your question.
I'm using the crappier model.
Somewhere in the world, you're slightly increasing the global temperature.
That's it. I'm the cause of global warming, is what you're saying.
You're burning valuable electrons. You're colliding them with each other.
Right, add current user parameter. Yes, this is exactly. Rework the DOM to proper chat bubbles and all the time colors. Rewrite CSS left and right. Simon's at the end of it all. Yeah. Okay, what's done? Looks good. Let's see. So we've got current user being passed in, which is decided currently is Alice. We are Alice.
Yes. Go ask Alice.
Hey.
When she's 10 feet tall. That's pretty.
My message don't get my name because I know who I am. I get Bob's name now. I'm talking to. Let's come up with
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say I want let's bring the CSS in line actually. Put it back in here basically. What if I do is it in here? No, it's in the other one, right? I don't have any for this. Sorry. Undo. Yeah, we don't want that. Let's go to that. Okay. So I'm having to manually refresh this on the left when I change the main.css file because there's no sort of detection to reload this page because it's using that CSS file. If I change the inline CSS, it would hot reload it because it knows that that's changed the context. Okay.
Makes sense.
Oh, let's decide to use main CSS. Go for it. Okay.
Ooh, now there's another stable out. There's another stable. I gotta go install it. Can't have my friends using a Flutter that I don't have. Yep, released 47 minutes ago. Here we go. Let's see how much I break here. I broke Puro. The release 2 releases ago screwed something up such that Puro couldn't handle it. So I had to uninstall and reinstall Puro from scratch.
Okay.
but thankfully it all is working after that. So there's just something temporarily in that one release that just freaked Pura out. I filed a bug and Ping did not respond yet.
All right, let's do this. So let's go a bit further. Okay, so we've got a chat list. It has scroll. We want to display the so we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I think there's about probably 30 or more here. So fact, what we could do, you could go to here and just put it in. So I know they, it's they. Okay, cool. So let's see if the AI can make the changes that I want it to make to do this. Shall we see? Shall we see if we can do that? Why not?
Yeah.
I
you
would
have
like
a way of like a git
chat
commit or something
list.
that you can roll back if you have to.
My chat list div tag to display the last. Well, I mean, like, actually, I mean, to be honest, it's not that difficult to do, but yeah, I'm kidding. Why not? Display the last 10 messages and allow me to lazily scroll back up the chat and show more messages as I scroll.
I would change the word last. I would change the word last to most recent because it's a little more specific.
Yeah, well, I'll change it in a minute. It's fine. I was just going to say sorted by date. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
Already date sorted, so I just want to get it.
That's it. That's the technical writer in me, though. So I spent the first 5 years salary employed, mostly as a technical writer. So I learned the difference between last and most recent. That was hammered into my head. You know, last is the last one ever. Most recent is up till now.
Yeah.
So they do have a different connotation. Yep. It was pretty amazing training myself as a programmer to start with and then ending up landing the only job available at the time, which was technical writer, even though I flunked junior high English and I was on the high school newspaper to try to avoid having to take any real English classes. And that's what I ended up doing the first 4 years of my career, was technical writing. But it got me crossbred. So now I was both a programmer and a writer, and those really they overlap a lot, but they also have distinct qualities, and so it made me uniquely skilled for a lot of projects.
That's what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
We decided to build something in Jaspr, a chat list, and have it lazily load as it scrolls back inside of Jaspr. And yep. Instead of me doing it the way I want to do it, I'm just going to get the AI to do it because I'm being lazy. And being lazy about lazy loading.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I mean, it's doing how I would do it. So, you know, it's not a bad thing, right? Like, so as I said here, there's your div tags support events. Events is how you hook up your Dart code / JavaScript code effectively to different events in the DOM tree. And then you can get a callback with that event that describes what it is. It's just understood all that. And now today is using and then it's giving us our scroll information about the DOM object itself that's scrolling. And now hopefully we need to set it to use universal web. But we'll get to that in a minute.
We need some Star Trek thinking music. working.
What was it? Is it Jeopardy in America?
And the great thing about that song is if you listen to it, it's exactly 30 seconds long, except the first draft wasn't exactly 30 seconds long. You can tell because at the end it goes dun, 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 dun. It slows down a little bit, but that still wasn't quite enough. And so they added the two timpanis, boom, boom. That was 30 seconds. So they had to keep adding to the end of the song to make it exactly 30 seconds.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, Jaspr is amazing, but those tags and CSS bring back. So, yeah.
Yes,
I mean, you don't have to use CSS, right? That's the point, right? Like we're just doing that out of the box.
Yeah.
You go use Bulma CSS or one of these other packages where you just put the class names in. It's super nice, and then you've got all your styling and all your layout done for you. I know. I feel like Jaspr.
It's still working.
Let's see. Yeah, it's still doing it. Now the client standing, yes, but here's the approach. Track display count in state starts at 10. Show at least the last display count messages. Attach the scroll event. Load 10 more messages when they scroll up. Show a scroll up hint that there are older messages to load.
Ooh. Yeah. Ship it. Do it.
Visible messages. Has computed on scroll. Using universal web. Nice. I think the question here though is it says load more. So if I scroll down,
is that just the plan or is that already implemented?
No, it loaded more when I scrolled, but I want a bottom up scroll. It's scrolling in the opposite direction right now. So at 9:20, I scrolled and I got 9. Yeah. Because I'm at the top of the list. So the cat list starts at the top of the scroll content and not the bottom. Guys, is this coding? That's dubious. That's a question that you need to ask someone else. I mean, we are coding, but are we coding? I'm not sure.
We're not decoding.
Yeah.
We're not encoding. This is close.
The best part of web Flutter is to get away from the web stuff totally, right? Like
AI is just encoding.
Definitely brings back, this definitely brings back bad memories of the days of web. I mean, it definitely web itself is not ideal. I think that there's it's got better. There's a historic legacy and you can do lots of things. And I think it's definitely not as bad as what it used to be. You have no idea.
I've got to ask what the word cooked means these days, because I've seen it recently a lot. Does that mean bad or does that mean good? Does that mean
well, I always thought of cooked as being like well done, as in tired, right?
Right. But the kids have a different meaning for it now. I don't know. I haven't quite caught on to it yet.
The lingo.
We have a question. We have a question.
Sure.
Duolingo for English. Yes, right. That's what I should be listening. Mark that.
It's learning how Flutter works and how Jaspr works.
So we actually have a question, but it's not directly related to what we're doing. In RiverPod, how do I make list view update only the items?
Well, sorry, just on the cooked and cooking. Like you're cooking with gas, I get that. But cooked on its own, that's the past tense.
Right. It's
something. My eyes are cooked. My eyes are very bad right now, right? Oh, we're not frustrated at all. I mean, you might be frustrated, definitely not. This is as they say, child. This is child's play, as they say, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So what's it got here? So we've got page size has more. There we go. Scroll to bottom on the niche state, which queries the chat list, sets the scroll top to the scroll height. Makes sense. Visible messages, the amount of messages we have in the chat. On scroll, we're going to get the HTML element, get its scroll top. If it's near the top, then we're going to grab more and display them. And we set up our scroll event. And that's it. So, okay, we're at the bottom at 9:29. Let's scroll back up in the chat. That's kind of interesting, right? Because it did load more. But then what's happened here is it immediately loads more as well. So the scroll takes place. I wonder if you can reverse the scroll in a better way. It must be, because the problem here is scroll top is still going to be, because of this number, scroll top is going to be near the top again. It's not going to have added the height of the additional scroll change. So it loads the third page, right? Which is all of the messages right now. I don't think it's way more difficult. What you have is different experience. It's like you look at a carpenter carving or an ice sculptor is carving some ice cream, going, oh my God, that's so difficult. Couldn't possibly do that. It's like, well, if you spend long enough learning the skill, you can do it. I'd say the same thing probably about motion design, right?
Scroll top less than equal to 50 with 30 messages.
No, this is not the number of messages. This is the number of pixels. So this is saying when I'm 50 pixels away from the top of the scroll port, load more, and it loads 10 more, right? That's the page size, 10. So what we actually want to do here is let's tell the AI and see what it comes up with as a solution. Because I think there's actually a fundamentally problem here. The fact that the scroll top, we're doing the offset of our scroll is from the top of the viewport down and not the bottom up.
Yeah.
See you, man. Have a good day. Right. Yeah. Let's see what our AI overlords can help us out with. I notice that when I attempt to scroll up, it loads 2 pages immediately and not one. And not one. I believe this is because my scroll top on my of my cat list is I wonder if I could display things and position them based on the opposite scroll axis. I mean, that's a nice way of doing it. I believe this is my scroll top.
What are you laughing at?
Richard said coders are like good at design. Coders that are good at design are called unicorns.
Yes.
They do exist. They do exist. Right. Exactly right. When the first page loads, new page should be pre-appended to the top, but scroll top stays near 0, which immediately triggers another load. To fix this, adjust scroll top after rebuild to account for the new content height. After new messages are pre-appended to the DOM, future delayed fires a scroll top minus previous scroll height. This offset is exactly the height of the new content that was added, keeping the user in the same visual position, preventing the double load. I'm not so certain about that, and also so jank. So this is the problem you get, like with web, right? Like even this, look, I'm loading, and then it's like scroll to the bottom. It's like great. I'm definitely sure there's ways around this. Don't get me wrong, that not like this, but I'm going to scroll up. There we go. Loads another page. Scroll up. There's the next page. Yay, it works.
Wow, it fixed
it.
It
Does actually work. But we have a couple of bugs. When I initially load, it scrolled to the top, which is super jank. Let's say when the page initially loads, the scroll is at the top and jumps to the bottom. How can we address this? So, I mean, honestly, like I can see that there's a couple of different ways of doing this. Like, you know, so we can fully virtualize the scroll by just taking the scroll events themselves and offset widgets by that amount. That's literally like you then just completely avoid the browser scroll system, right? Not ideal, but that would definitely work. Another way we could do this is having the scroll still there, but effectively setting the display position of the chat bubbles based on the inverse scroll offset. So essentially rendering them the opposite way around. I'm not sure how that would revolve around the layout and if that would have other complexities. Let's see what the AI has come up with.
Let's see what's cooking.
Oh, look, there's a CSS for it. Flex direction column reverse.
Oh my goodness.
Naturally starts at the bottom and no JavaScript is needed, which eliminates the scroll adjustment hack. Now let me remove. Then using the verb on scroll still needs it. It doesn't. Yeah. CSS removed in its state. Remove scroll to bottom. Remove previous scroll height. Oh, we magically fixed it. Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
All right, let's refresh the page.
So they have the equivalent of list view reversed. True.
Yeah. We're at the bottom now. Look, refresh. We're at the bottom. 929. I scroll up. So this is interesting. I'll load more.
Just grow the other way.
But that's because
it's at the wrong end. Yeah.
Max scroll minus 50. That's interesting. I wonder if that's because this is the scroll top. I don't know what scroll top is in this situation. Let's print it.
Print it.
Max scroll top. Thank you very much. The ultimate debug. Right. Console. Let's move you up here so you can see. Okay, so scroll top is negative. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. So we need to take our scroll top. Max scroll is fine. We just need to invert our scroll top, right? Scroll bottom equals negative scroll top. Let's do that. And pop that in there. And do we have scroll top mentioned anywhere else? No. All right. Let's see what it says now. That's better. Hey, it loaded more pages again. Yeah. That's interesting, right? Because I wasn't expecting it to do that because we're now negative, right? Yeah, it just magically jumps up to like what 1,600 odd. Okay, let's tell it what we've done. The scroll wasn't loading more content, so I added debugging and determined the scroll top value goes into negative now when the display is reversed. You don't need that. So I have updated the conditional logic, which now loads more messages, but the original issue of loading multiple pages has come back. Let's see what it says. All right. Loading guard. That's why we're doing it. So as soon as we do set state, we're now loading, and then we're doing it after rebuild, we're doing loading false, so it doesn't go to loading again. And if we're loading, then we return early, so we don't load the second page before we've finished loading the first. Scroll up. That did not work. No. It's interesting that I can't see why the scroll place would change. It's definitely a very subtle issue as to why it would be loading. What's to say? Still not working. Let me just double check that. Refresh. Scroll up. Yeah, it says it's loaded all of them. Have you heard of Randall? Have you heard of that? Well, since we're doing AI, have you heard of the new model that runs at 17,000 tokens a second instead of the standard 800 tokens a second, 1,800 tokens a second?
No, you mean in the Gemini series or somebody else?
No. This is a new system. Hang a minute. I'll show it to you. Shall I? I'll show it to you because, yeah, it's so there's a company that have put the chat model in silicone, like async, right?
Wow.
And they've managed to achieve ridiculously fast speeds. Here it is here. Right. This is chatjimmy.ai, if anyone wants to try it out. You're going to get like, I think you would get like a couple of free tokens. So I'm only going to do one thing. But watch this. Are you ready for this, Randall? Randall, before you try it, watch my screen.
Sure. Okay.
Give me a summary of what Dart and Flutter is and how I can start. See how quick that was?
Whoa. It's faster than even a Google search.
Yes. And this is what's so freaking scary about it. Yeah, it got speed of 15,700 tokens a second.
Wow, that's a lot of tokens.
And literally, no, the time we're spending waiting here, gone. Literally going to be gone in the future. I'm telling you. The company that's actually making this, there you go. Look how many I got free. I used 791 tokens out of 6,144 tokens.
Oh, so you got a bit more you can use.
Sorry.
What's the website again? It's hidden behind a couple things.
This is chat Jimmy. I'll put it in the chat for everyone to use. Why not?
Okay.
So yeah, this is the company that's building it. Talus, right? This is the product that they've been building out. It's an actual piece of hardware. See my screen?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's a PCI Express card with high-speed data connects at the back, so you can. So by the looks of it, with one in and one out, meaning you can chain them together, daisy chain them together.
Wow.
So this is going to be going to servers and other equipment, right? You can put it in your home computer, I guess, right? But look at this: TSMC 6 nanometer process, 53 billion transistors on the chip, and it runs the Llama 3.1 8B model. So yeah, it's not like, you know, your 120 billion parameter model or anything else. It's only 8 billion. But what you can do with that at that speed, yeah, there's definitely the future right there, you know. Anyway, sorry, we started talking about AI. My bad.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Should see that for the Tuesday shows.
That's weird.
We could give that warning about Gemini API keys in this show, though, because that is pretty important.
Actually, it's not a bad thing. I might do that anyway. Do you know what? We're kind of we're way over in time right now, but yeah. So something I think we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah,
I think it's worth it. Hope that was kind of interesting to do a bit of Jaspr and people find that kind of interesting. I don't know.
yeah, it'll be.
I mean, guys, do you want something more? You know, if you come up with an idea, right? Yeah, like during the week, write down when you're in the show next week, pop that idea in the chat, and we can work on it, right? So, you know, I was gonna say, Richard, we can continue it next week. I just think that we're way over on budget on time here at the moment.
And so, just to be clear, saying 9 a.m. Pacific time, even though that's going to be moved by DST this weekend.
1 hour earlier for people in Europe and that haven't done the day at same as yet. And
so 164 hours from now will be the next show.
Forgive God, yeah. So we get laggy with lots of messages buffered. Yeah, I can show you. We can talk more about that for that next week. I mean, I was just an example there, and you know, you would load it and definitely show it differently. There's other ways to just load the chats you're looking for. You can expand upon this, and we can go through it. It's not super difficult. We could, you know, we can do a proper example like 30,000 messages and see how it reacts, right? Like, what else? Oh yeah. I just want to give that warning before we close up the show. So there's been you can go find some news articles around this, I'm sure, but I want to make sure everyone's aware. That is, if you've created yourself, you're using the Gemini API in any product, effectively that Gemini API has access to your cloud drive and other things. Now, by default, it generates an API key, a Google API key. That's great, it works. However, most API keys you've already generated, let's say from Firebase for your app or whatever else, they may not have been restricted to just their APIs that they need. This is kind of common that people misconfigure that, which basically now means that if the API keys that have been essentially out on your website or in your app can now be used with your Gemini tokens, and then to be able to read your private documents and information. So you need to make sure that it was always the case. This hasn't changed. There's nothing special. But what's happening now is essentially because the Gemini models running in your account, in your space has access to your data, this can effectively mean that you can now give third parties access to your data when you didn't mean to, right? So it's very, very important to make sure that all your API keys are locked down to the correct APIs that they. So inside, can I show this?
Yeah,
I can show next week if you want to know how to do that.
Yeah, basically,
platform. Going to the API credential section, there's basically a list of what APIs you want to give access to an API key.
Right, and anything that has access to generative language client or whatever that key phrase is, that's essentially Gemini. So
let me dig out a link to. I have one around here. 2 articles about this.
Yeah, generative language API is the key phrase there. So if you see the list of APIs that your key can invoke that maybe you set up for a Firebase project, and if it's all APIs, it's going to be eligible for this crap. So you got to be careful. You got to go on and say only some APIs and make sure generative language API is not selected for your Firebase keys, for your the keys, Google Maps keys. I mean, there's been keys for everything that have all been okay to publish because they didn't, you could run up against a source limit, but you really can't burn up, you can't access private information because it's only just whatever's in Google's public databases. So this is definitely a huge thing. If you accidentally have generative language API enabled on one of the keys that you've already published. So
I published a little Instagram short if you want to like a quick summary of it, and then there's also an article. This is particularly around a dev that got an $82,000 cloud bill after their API key got thieved from something completely different, and then was used with the Gemini API enabled stuff, right? But this
I did an audit yesterday. I did an audit yesterday and deleted 3 API keys and 1 service account because I don't remember how I was using the service account. So you got to watch for those too. So if they have access to generative language, that'd be bad too. Anyway.
Okay. Well, we'll park it there and we can continue same
164
time,
hours.
164 hours earlier in some places.
1 hour earlier than most of the world. All right.
Thanks for joining us. I'll see you again.